He was told he was not ready for Talladega. NASCAR denied him. The critics lined up. And then on April 25th, 2026, Cleetus McFarland showed up at the biggest, fastest, most chaotic superspeedway in America. The same track NASCAR said he wasn't qualified for in the O'Reilly Series, and nearly won. That is Cleetus McFarland. And after today, nobody, not a single person, can tell this story the same way anymore. To understand why Saturday's result hit this hard, you have to go back and remember exactly where this whole journey started. Cleetus McFarland, real name Garrett Mitchell, is a 31-year-old automotive YouTuber from Omaha, Nebraska, with over 4.7 million subscribers. He owns the Freedom Factory in Bradenton, Florida. He built his entire brand from scratch on horsepower, authenticity, and an absolute refusal to slow down. And in 2026, he stepped into NASCAR's National Series ladder for real. Not as a stunt, not as a one-off cameo, but as a driver with a legitimate multi-race deal with Richard Childress Racing in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. The season started rough. His NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona ended on lap 6 after a crash. His O'Reilly debut at Rockingham on April 4th saw him finish 32nd, 6 laps down with 4 spins, including one that brought out a caution on lap 206. Kyle Petty had questioned why he was there at all. Kyle Busch had questioned his experience. The garage was skeptical. A portion of the fan base was angry. Then NASCAR denied his request to race in the O'Reilly Series at Talladega. That was the moment the whole story threatened to stall out. But here is the thing about Cleetus McFarland. He did not go quiet. He went to work. Between Rockingham and Talladega, Cleetus did something the critics did not fully account for. He kept showing up and kept getting better. At Kansas Speedway in the ARCA Menard Series, he started from 25th on the grid and worked his way up to 7th before a blown engine took him out. He did not get the result. But 7th place pace at an intermediate track coming from the back was not the performance of a driver who does not belong. And his reaction to the engine failure told you everything. He called it a win because the pace was there and he made it more than 75% of the distance. Then the Nashville O'Reilly start got confirmed. May 30th, Richard Childress Racing, RCR, posted 4 words on social media. He's back. The momentum was building again. And then came Talladega, the Alabama-manufactured Housing 200, April 25th, 2026. Talladega Superspeedway, the same 2.66-mile superspeedway where NASCAR had told Cleetus he was not ready to race in the O'Reilly Series weeks earlier. He was back, this time in the ARCA Menard Series in the number 30 Ford Mustang for Rhett Jones Racing, with veteran NASCAR Cup spotter Kevin Hamlin on his radio. He started 20th in a field of competitive ARCA drivers, and from the very first lap, he was moving forward. By the competition caution, he had worked his way up to 2nd place, right behind race leader Gio Ruggiero, who had started from pole. The team was on the radio coaching him through every restart, explaining the rules, reminding him of positioning, talking him through the superspeedway chess match that confuses even experienced drivers. His response to the team? He said he loves nothing more than a good old drag race. That is Cleetus McFarland in one sentence. He pushed to the front, took the lead, and held it. Then Ruggiero got back out front on the outside. But he overextended, and Cleetus roared back around him and reclaimed the top spot. The crowd at Talledega, a massive Talledega crowd, erupted. Then Cleetus got emotional in the car. And if you know anything about Cleetus McFarland's story, you understand exactly why. Because he was doing it for Biff. This part of the story needs to be told properly. Greg Biffle, former NASCAR Cup Series driver, 19-time Cup winner, and one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers, died in a plane crash on December 18, 2025, in Statesville, North Carolina. He was on his way to visit Cleetus in Florida when the Cessna C550 went down shortly after takeoff. Biffle's wife, Christina, their children Ryder and Emma, and 3 others were also killed. 7 people total. Gone. Biffle and Mitchell had become close friends over roughly a year and a half. They met initially through Hurricane Helene relief efforts in western North Carolina, flying helicopters to deliver supplies to communities devastated by flooding. They bonded immediately. Biffle had been mentoring Cleetus through his ARCA career, coaching him through his Daytona debut, his first Talladega start, his Charlotte run. He was not just a friend, he was the racing mentor who had been helping Cleetus become a real driver. At Talladega on April 25th, Cleetus carried that tribute on his car, in his heart, and in every single lap, he ran out front. The NASCAR community has rallied around the phrase "be like Biff" since Biffle's passing. And on Saturday, Cleetus was doing exactly that, competing with everything he had up front at the place he was told he wasn't ready for. When he mentioned Biff in the post-race interview, saying he was turning left for Greg Biffle and for Mr. Sam, there was nothing performative about it. That was real. That was personal. And the people who have followed this whole story from the beginning felt it. Now let's talk about how this thing ended, because the finish of this race is going to be talked about for a long time. After leading multiple laps and surviving the big one, a massive multi-car wreck with 7 laps to go that destroyed several cars, including his friend George Siciliano's number 0 Ford, Cleetus found himself right back in the thick of the battle for the win as the race restarted. On the final lap, he and fellow driver Gus Dean were running together at the front, side by side, fighting for position. They started pushing and bumping each other going into the final corner, which cost both of them momentum. Andy Jankowiak, who had been running in the mix all day in the number 71, found the high lane, built a run, and powered past them both at the line. Jankowiak won by 0.111 seconds. That is barely more than a tenth of a second. The margin between first and third was just 0.114 seconds. 3 cars, 3 different lines. One of the closest superspeedway finishes you will ever see. Cleetus finished second. Afterward, he was completely honest about what happened. He said he left Jankowiak when he should have stayed with him, tried to go down low to clear another car, didn't have enough room, and they got into each other. He said if he had cleared that car 1 more foot sooner, he would have had it. He said between turn 4 and the checkered flag, every single thought in his head was simply, go. His foot was pushing through the floorboard. He came up 1/10 of a second short of winning at Talladega. The same Talladega he was told he wasn't ready for. In the same week, his next NASCAR O'Reilly Series start was confirmed. There is a progression line you can draw through Cleetus McFarland's 2026 season now, and it is undeniably moving in one direction. Truck Series debut at Daytona and crash on lap 6. O'Reilly's debut at Rockingham, 32nd, 6 laps down. 4th in ARCA East at Rockingham the same weekend. Running 7th at Kansas before the engine blew. And now 2nd in ARCA at Talladega, leading laps, fighting for the win on the final corner at 200 miles per hour. The question of whether Cleetus McFarland belongs in bigger NASCAR opportunities just got a whole lot harder to answer with a no. He led laps at Talladega. He nearly won. And he did it while honoring one of NASCAR's greatest drivers, who believed in him before almost anyone else in the garage did. After Talladega, does Cleetus McFarland deserve a shot at the full NASCAR O'Reilly Series Superspeedway schedule? Or does he still need to earn it one track at a time? Drop it in the comments. And if you are not subscribed yet, you are going to miss Nashville. And we promise you, you do not want to miss Nashville. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you are the first one here when that video drops.